I'm Thomas LeRoy, founded the Sect of the Horn God. Now, as I mentioned before in other videos, I have a fascination with mythology, as I think all Satanists should. I mean, you are utilizing a mythological archetype, right, in a way of describing who you are. Because that's all that Satan is, right? He's just a mythological archetype. Now, being fascinated with mythology, my favorite topic, of course, is the horn god and the different depictions of the horn god through different religions and cultures and so on and so forth. Now, the one that really fascinates me is the connection between the Celtic god Cernunnos, which Latin means the horned one, and Pashupati of India. Now, if you've ever seen a depiction of Pashupati, he's seated in a lotus position surrounded by animals. The most popular depiction of Cernunnos, which we find on the Gundestrup cauldron, he is seated in a lotus position surrounded by animals. Gundestrup cauldron dates back 2,000 years. These seals, or these depictions of Pashupati, date back 5,000 years. Now, what's going on here? Is this an example of racial memory? I don't know. What Carl Jung called the collective unconscious? Maybe. Or is it, or are both these gods based on a more ancient Indo-European god? Because if you know your history, you know both India and those people of that region, and the Celts and the Germans and most people of Caucasoid persuasion all share a common ancestor somewhere there around the Ukraine or whatever. Was there that God? And who was that God? I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating to speculate on. Now, what I found extra interesting is that Pashupati is also known as a proto or pre-Shiva. He later on, within the mythological framework of Hinduism, became Shiva. Just as, in a sense, in some ways, Cernunnos in the West became Satan. Satan, of course, a left-hand path deity, and Shiva in Hinduism, a left-hand path deity. Not always. Sometimes Shiva's right-hand path, but what I'm speaking about is the left face of Shiva. Shiva the destroyer, the Shiva that the Agori revere. Both left-hand path deities. What is the connection? What is it? What does it say about us as people and these archetypes? What's going on deep down inside in that collective unconscious, if it does exist? Because let's face it, these deities don't actually exist. They do not exist. I don't care what Christians say or satanic theists say. They are archetypes, mythological archetypes. And just as Joseph Campbell said, to believe myth literally, to take it as truth, is like walking into a restaurant, seeing beefsteak on the menu, and you begin to eat the menu. Myth is relevant, myth is important, and it will always stay relevant and important. We can learn a whole lot about ourselves. And it says a lot about who we are by those mythological archetypes we are drawn to.